Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 Championship. We're today for the Great British Grand Prix, and yes, it is raining lightly. It's inters right now, but it will dry up for later on in the qualifying session, and it will dry up for the sprint race. There was a sprint race and the main race, of course. We're going to have a dry session. It's going to be overcast, so the tyre temps will be nice and cold, which should be lovely, of course, although the tyres will still be eaten away. Zingy, around a circuit like this, are you going to even want to consider going onto the softs, or is that never going to be a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, this track is demolishing tyres. Due to all the fast corners like Maggots, Beckett's, you got the middle sector, which is very technical, very rough on the temperatures, especially on exits. So you're going to really struggle to keep those softs in that operating window. If it is a bit colder though, like we're seeing the conditions in qualifying and maybe in the sprint race, I'm not entirely sure of the weather. However, if it does dry up during the middle of the race, we might be able to see some soft runners, depending on how late it is, but I doubt we will. Medium tyres will probably be the most preferred tyre because it's just so consistent and quick.
Fair enough. We've got Nefojan, Eagle Pro, and maybe Heischler later on in the session going to be the higher tier drivers today. Gibby's joined. Hopefully they fixed their issues from last time around. They did disconnect earlier on, but they're now here. We can just pray at the moment. A couple new drivers. Grzyak returns. We got IDMC and Mikash. Never mind. Mikash are in P4. Just about got it done. And that is the grid so far. Larlick's got a couple more corners to go. IDMC is also going to set another lap. Will Larlick be able to improve here? The session is slowly getting quicker and quicker. So these guys staying out a little bit longer. It seems like the rest of the grid are wanting to wait a little bit and then try and go and time those softs perfectly. Zingy, would you still be on track right now, just trying to get more laps in, or are you going to go and wait for the soft tyres to be available?
I think I said this before in a rain affected and a transitioning qualifying session. Whenever it is like this, I like to be on track until at least about 4 minutes to go before I peel into the pit lane, because if I'm setting lap times that are constantly getting quicker, and well, they most definitely are, as Larlick sets purple in the first sector, you're going to see these times tumble. But if it doesn't get dry enough for dry tyres, you could see a surprise pole position from anyone really. Maybe some of the rookies, maybe Larlick can sneak up there, because obviously we've had Persona on pole quite a lot of the time, and you may catch him out because of the wet weather. And say it does dry up, and if you mess up your lap, you've still got that inter time, which people might also mess up their dry runs too. So it's always good to have a good time, just like Rexty has P2 at the moment.
Fair enough. We've got Pursoon and Curran being the first drivers to fit that soft tyre. So the qualifying legends, I don't know, I've forgotten the words. Those guys are really trying to make that prediction as soon as possible, and it might not be a bad idea. If you timed it to perfection, you might even get 2 runs. You'd have to distribute that ERS though. IDMC proving what Zingy said, along with Rexty, pushing themselves up the order. That could be very nice for later on, of course. A couple people out on track recently. We've got This Is Vale, who's got out on track to try and set a lap time. I think they had a bit of an issue earlier in the session off camera. Now they're on camera. What can they do here? So close to track limits on the rear. Still wet conditions, and it's only going to get quicker, so this could be a very good time here from This Is Vale. Will it be a possible provisional pole? No. Lots of time on that lap time, so they're going to be going again, and they'll have to just wait a little bit longer. But This Is Vale, he might have a good chance here, although we can't see at the moment, but the clock might start to run down a little bit. Pursoon is actually on their way out on the inters, so they've wasted all that time there.
Yeah, Pursoon, I think he realised that because not many people are out on track and are just waiting for the dry conditions, there was no one on track to clear that standing water, no way. So the more people are out on track, the more standing water can get cleared, and the more chance of dry tyre being used. And if there's no one on the track, then it's just not going to get dry very quickly. So maybe Pursoon is going to go in that wet tyre, intermediate tyre, sorry. He's very quick at the moment, pole position by 2 tenths. He's going to set a better lap time, maybe 2 or 3 tenths quicker. and it might not even get dry. So maybe this is a genius idea, but you never know. This game's quite unpredictable with the weather and how like the dry tires work in wet conditions. So it could all go up in there. IDMC goes Larla goes P3, proving my point once again that the track is getting much faster.
Gibby looking to do that as well as he comes across the line. Wasn't able to improve. It's actually an outlap, so he's going to have a little bit more time. We've got the Astons both on track, so they're looking to improve, although there was a yellow sector just before Stowe. Hopefully there's nothing more than just a yellow sector. But we will stay on Gibby for the minute. I just want to quickly check something, so I do apologise for going off the stream. It won't take us too long at all. Having a quick look. We will send that just in case. I've forgotten what else I wanted to check through. Never mind. Looks like maybe I can't check for anything. Never mind. Alright. That should be it, and we're now good to go once again. Gibby invalidates, unfortunately. Could we go with somebody else? We've got Pursoon, the current pole sitter, with a 36.4. 4 minutes on the clock, so maybe they've just aborted any kind of soft run at all, and that could be Gilly Cohen maybe having a look for pole position here.
Just looking at the weather conditions from the cinematic cameras, Pursuit goes 8 tenths up in the first sector. He's 8 tenths purple. He's going to be absolutely flying on this lap. And just going back to my point, it doesn't look like it's getting much drive, so maybe people waiting on the dries, like Cohen and Gilly, have made somewhat of a mistake, because if they don't get their butts out there right now, it's gonna hamper him a lot. Robbo, Rexy also looking to go out in the soft. Is that Gilly? Is that Gilly going on the soft? It is. Gilly's gone out on the soft tyre, so he's risking it. He thinks that the track conditions have dried up enough, but has it? We'll just have to wait and see. But Pursoon, coming through the middle sector split now, what's it going to be? It's going to be 1.9 seconds up as Grajak goes on pole position. He's nabbed it off Pursoon with a 34.8. That's a fantastic lap. A second is a bit faster, but with Pursoon's 1.9, he should get pole position back, and he invalidates! He invalidates and he dives immediately into the pit lanes. He's going to have to get those soft tyres on quickly. But Grajak snapped it off him with a fantastic lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to go straight into the pit lane and back out again, but there are slightly longer laps than usual, so it might be tight. Now, what I was going to say is, the guys on the soft tyres, they have to just commit. They've spent so long in the pit lane waiting for the conditions, it's just a waste if you don't do it. Gilly could possibly go for 2 laps, and that might not be a bad idea, because you can have 1 lap to try and warm up those tyres, and then maybe go for another lap with the ERS. That's if they manage it correctly. They do have a car behind them. That's the Aston of Grajak, who I think is on an in-lap, so that's not really a worry for them. Track is slowly starting to dry up, and if you time it right to the end perfectly, you might have a go at getting pole position, but right now it is what it is. Mikash is on pole position as of now by quite a nice margin. Doesn't really matter. The question really is, will the soft tyre runners be able to get this done? It is 50-50.
I noticed that when you were just talking that the DRS has been enabled, and if you look on board with IDMC, you'll be able to see that rearing flap opening on his outer lap, try to get some heat generated into the tyres. So this is usually the crossover point with 1 minute 36 to go. He, along with a few others, should make it around. It might be a bit tight with Robbo here and Gibby, but I think they will make it. They've got enough time. So if these guys can just even get like a rubbish soft time lap in, they can maybe be up there, because all you need to do is set a valid alright lap, and I reckon, well, this is Vale actually on the intermediate just set pole, so maybe, who knows, maybe the intermediate is still the fastest at the moment. I'm not too sure, because he just set a lap time 1 second faster than anyone else, so track conditions are varying. Maybe the soft tyres won't be able to get up to the optimum window, so it's going to be tricky for these guys, but I'm sure some of them can pull it off, and we can see some things change in the last second.
Intermediates can be pretty quick in dry conditions, only for a moment until they start to overheat. However, it's kind of gone with the rain, and it is looking pretty dry. It's just about track temperature and tyre temperature, if it's going to be switched on or not. Gilly, I think, if I'm correct, is going to be the first one to set a soft tyre lap. Is he going to be able to look for a possible pole position? We'll go through Magnus and Beckett to see on the Delta line if it would be anywhere near so close to the track limits there. That would have been devastating if he didn't get that done across the sector line now, and it is current pole position by 6 seconds. That is a brilliant job so far, but he's still got a couple more corners to do, and then he will be able to only know then if it is enough. He's still got a long way to wait, and other people also on their way out. Pursoon will not be able to get another lap in. That's Nikash also out of this session. Gilly across the line. He's on provisional pole for his home Grand Prix. Will this be enough? We've got is that this is Vale on his way, but no, that is the intermediate tyre. That is way too hot, and it's not gonna be any use. Anybody else? IDMC, he's going through the S section actually. I thought that was, so that's actually Grosjean right there. Will Rexty be able to charge through? Will he have a look at possible pole position? He's got a couple more corners to go. He's been very good on race starts recently, and if he can get himself nice and high for the sprint race, then he's going to have a brilliant opportunity and maybe have a bit of a better lap one in the race. Provisional pole, not quite enough. That is Cohen setting the time, and that is a brilliant lap from him with his rival in P7.
Robo about to come through the last few corners now. He needs to get the traction down nicely. Don't spin on exit. Up to the line. It might be pole. It's not. It's 2 tenths off. Robo into P2. We need to look further back now towards Larlick, who's about to set his last lap just about now. And it's not going to be pole, but it's going to be a P5. Gebby will be the last person to cross the line. He's really sending it, really losing the car there a bit. And that is P6 for Gebby. But that is Cohen on pole position once again.
GG indeed. That was a very intense qualifying session. The timing was crucial, and Cohen got it right. Pole position for him, Robbo in P2, and then IDMC on debut in P3. Going to be pretty happy with that one, I'm sure. Race director is just about available. There you go, going through the instance just in case, and we'll be back for the sprint race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's gonna get it into turn one? Cohen, will he get away? Well, we're finally off on the traction. Will he have it? He does have the advantage. He's gonna swoop into P1. It's about Robbo and IDMC around the outside, now to the inside, but no, he will not have the space. Gilly onto the inside, maybe, no. Oh, car in the background sending it through. I don't know who that was, but that's Rexty on the outside of the Mercedes. Gibby there, fine. Walker did manage to get into the lobby, all side by side as we head through turn 5. Oh, Grosjean and Larlick is round. What on earth just happened there? I think he spun the car on the traction. Lots of cars having problems. Both Mercedes down the order. No safety car. Cohen leads the way and Robbo sits in P2. IDMC getting away nicely in P3. Gilly Rexty, of course, sitting right there, and Pursoon up to P7 and Eagerpro into P6.
That's very impressive, but here comes Gibby around the outside of Grosjean into Cop's corner. Is he going to go for the move? Surely not. He can't hang it around the outside there. No, he gets shut off, but he's got a good exit. And coming into Magus and Beckett, he's going to be alongside. Who's going to have to back out? I'm not too sure. It's going to have to be Grosjean. He backs out. And now coming onto the straight now, who's going to get it? It looks as though Grosjean's got a good enough exit. He's going to pull to the... What side is he going to go to? He's going to go to the right-hand side. going from the inside into Stowe now, still side by side, and he's going to try and get him, and he does. He manages to do it well up into P11.
Lovely stuff. Curran leads the way, gets the fastest lap, and that is, of course, Skrzak and Gibby switching positions. Does Flying Walker have damage? No one going into the pit lane, so I guess maybe not. Larlock not even going into the pit lane. Somebody definitely has damage because there was a bit of a wing flying off. I don't know who that... It was Larlock, unfortunately. Pursoon losing out on Eagle and Rexty, it seems. IDMC loses out onto Gilly. So it seems turn 5 is really catching people out, interestingly.
Yeah, turn 5 is a problem zone, as we see. Is that Niffle going around the outside of Rexty? Is he going to get the traction down on the outside? He struggles with it. Rexty makes a mistake, and this is Vale makes a bit of contact with him. And now this is Vale might have the run coming into Cops. He doesn't at the moment, so he's just going to have to stick behind. But looking back up front, more like here comes IDMC. He's a bit close to Gilly at the moment, but will he even challenge for a move? He's dropped off a bit.
Don't think so. Unfortunately, this is Vale has a bit of damage. They won't be able to pit. It's a sprint race. It's really not worth pitting. You've just got to hope that you get damage limitation. Right now, P8 will be no points for them, which is not ideal, but it looks like it's what they're going to have to settle for as they lose out even more, dropping down the order. This DMC not getting a move yet. DRS isn't available just yet. That's Pursoon onto the inside of Eager Pro as he wants to try and make some progress. It's not so simple. On the inside is Eagle. He should have the run, but Pursoon's going to try and hold it around the outside. It's a drag race to turn 1. Is he going to have to back out? He will have to back out. Nivbojan going to be right behind here. He's going to want to try and get past Eagle, but Eagle stays in front.
Niffle pressurising Igor coming through the first few corners. Now he looked very strong here in the F1 race. Will he be able to use that? Oh no, he's lost his back end. I've jinxed him and he can't find a way through now. Surely not. He's burning his battery, but there's nothing he can do at the moment. IDMC coming now and he can't find a move. He just can't find a move past Gilly at the moment. He's really struggling to overtake. We said in the F1 race it was difficult to overtake in the wet. But even in the dry conditions, people are struggling. However, Pursoon might put that theory to bed as he's looking for a move up the inside, potentially into Cop's corner. He's got the overspeed on him, but he just doesn't seem to want to make the move as of yet. However, he's got a great run out of Cops and into Maggots and Bearcats. Will he get the move done? Down the inside, he's forcing them to go back out, and he's lost it on that 4th position. And now Pursoon is going to have the DRS, and he's going to use his battery, the remaining of it, on Gilly. Coming into Stowe now, he's going to go to the outside line. The speed is just too much for Gilly, and he's going to hang it around the outside, leaves him a bit of room, but he manages to keep it. And now IDMC might be looking for a move on Gilly. Into the final few corners, Eager Pro goes for the move actually on IDMC, side by side. He's got the outside and he spun. Was there a bit of contact there with Niffle? I'm not sure, but he spun around. And that good progress he made at the start of the race has just faded away.
What a shame for that to happen right there. Very, very good effort, but now he's going to be all the way down the order. Not what you want to see on debut. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. Little bit of contact with Nifojan as the cars in front go side by side. Very easy to mistake. Gilly was going defensive pretty hard as they just seemed to accept that they were going to lose out to Pursoon, and they wanted to hold on to IDMC. Doesn't matter in the end. They will maintain that position. But that is the top 2, very close to one another. There's a big gap between themselves and the rest of the field, of course, so they got a pretty nice start. They kind of just single-filed it straight into turn 1, and that was about it. So they're going to be waiting a little bit later on to try and trade positions with the DRS, of course, going to be available at some point soon. That's something to look at. Who will be able to win this race? Further behind, Eager Pro going to try and have a look at Gilly possibly here. Everybody else is kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, Eager Pro with the ERS and DRS. It's just very powerful on the straight here coming into Stowe, and Gilly's not challenging it at all. He's got a good bit of battery, so I'd expect Gilly to use it a bit more, but he seems to want to save it for the last few laps where he'll mount a massive assault on Pursoon, and he might actually be using a higher tier driver to just kind of push him along towards Pursoon, and then for his sake hopefully try and overtake him when he's caught napping.
Yeah, for sure. Never know about time penalties. It's very difficult around this circuit. So although no one's got any yet, it could definitely happen a little bit later on. Mikash and Rexty might be bubbling up for some sort of overtake at some point soon. Robbo and Curran, I want to go back to these guys. I don't think there's going to be an overtake for a while because, unfortunately, the DRS is still available. I say unfortunately because we're not going to get any battles just yet. Robbo's going to be smart about it and just wait, allow Curran to do all the hard work and then go for a move on the final few laps. So that's when we're going to have to watch. That's a yellow, and that's unfortunately Flying Walker having more issues.
Yeah, Robbo, it might not be the most entertaining, but it definitely wins your races. Being smart and just trying your best to just relax yourself, make the other person scared and use their ERS so you have more to use for when you do overtake is a really smart strategy. However, Robbo actually might be looking for a move now. He's burning a bit of battery, he's deploying it, he's dumping it all, he's going to go to the outside off still. Will he make it work? There's a bit of contact and Cone maintains the position. A bit rough there, but he's got the run and he's going to make it on the outside and the club. Is he going to do it? I'm not sure. Around the outside, Cone pushes him off track. There's a bit of contact and Robbo spun. He spun the car. And that's going to allow Pursuit and Eager Pro to get past along with maybe Gilly as well if he manages to get it. And he does. So Robbo from P1 all the way down to P6. A bit of scruffy battling going on. And that's what can happen.
That's exactly what Robbo didn't want to happen. He tried to go for the move, but now Pursuit is in P2, and Curran, of course, that contact.
Oh!
Don't want to make a comment on it. That's unfortunately someone round. That's Nifo having issues, and that is not going to be good news for them. That will probably be somewhere at the back of the grid for them to start, but they're having some really big problems to try and get back in there, so maybe there is a technical failure or they're just trying to DSQ. Anyway, back to this. Rexty's got a time penalty, but Robbo, he doesn't want that to happen because now Pursuit is there. Curran might get a penalty for that. I don't really want to comment too much on it, but yeah, that's something to consider later on.
Pursuit, I just want to mention, is he's struggling a bit, and it cops of understeer, is you can see on the back of his car a light flashing that signifies less than 10% ERS. He's going to be really struggling as Eager Pro actually gets a penalty, so that just kind of conflicts my point. But if Gilly starts to ramp up the pace a bit, which he seems to be struggling at the moment because Robbo is catching him, these two might have a chance at catching and passing Persona if he just keeps this up. He needs to save somewhat battery because he can't defend with little to nothing. So if he keeps up the pace, it's good. But the understeer suggests that he's struggling with tyres, which might actually become a factor for some drivers depending on the setups that they use. Looking back at this battle now for P4, you see Robbo and Gilly. Robbo showed an excellent pace this whole race, challenging for the race win, of course, that little incident that happens, but you can see through turn 1 the confidence downshifts but doesn't lift. Flat for the first two corners. He's really close to Gilly. He's kind of forced to take a defensive line, and that's going to compromise his exit coming onto the straight now. Will he use battery to get past Gilly? Gilly's been struggling a bit, it seemed, but Robbo's going to stay behind for now, and he's going to probably challenge on the run into Stowe.
Gilly notorious for straight line speed, but this time not so much. Regardless, Robbo didn't seem any benefit or see any benefit in making the move just yet. He's going to wait until the final straight because then you'll be able to have the first sector to try and break away. It's much more efficient and a lot easier during a race, of course, so Gilly's going to have to watch out for that one at some point, and it is for position. Neither driver has any time penalties, so something to look into a little bit later on. Eager Pro close to the back of Pursuit. He's a higher tier driver, he's got time penalty, not going to be considering anything. Right now, here we go, Robbo and Gilly. Robbo using the ERS, looking to make that move inside, outside, outside, but Gilly goes defensive and does it very well, makes a mistake on entry, compromises their exit into the chicane, gonna go to the inside line is Robbo. Gilly trying to hold it, looking for the switchback. The Alpine is now to the inside line, side by side. They're going to have to give the space between them. And that is a perfect opportunity there spotted from Robbo on the inside line. Should have all the advantage, but no, here comes Gilly around the outside now into the chicane. He's going to try and outbrake him. He's going to try it. Is it going to work? Goes very, very wide. Now has the inside line. Now does have the DRS. There's a minor bit of contact, and that will be Robbo through. A brilliant, brilliant overtake there. Gilly got the DRS, so he'll be able to maintain that position, but he's only got a couple of opportunities to make that position back.
He actually didn't get the DRS. They both crossed the detection line at the same time. Robbo playing that absolutely perfectly, making the overtake and then defending from Gilly. We thought he would get it on the switchback, but it seemed as though he really struggled with the traction, lost the car. And even if he did have DRS, which he didn't, he would have struggled to overtake him. But yeah, Robbo back up into a podium position. He's doing great considering all that's happened.
Lots of action on track, lap 8 out of 9, not too long to go in this race. Kearney's the way pursuit, just maintaining that gap. He doesn't really need to risk anything. P2 will still be a lovely position to start this race, especially compared to his qualifying.
Yeah, Pursuit's obviously very happy at the moment, but he can't rest just yet. He's got Eager Pro right behind him as we start the last lap of the Grand Prix with Cohen in the lead and Pursuit in second. He just needs to watch out. I know Eager Pro's a higher tier driver and he's very smart, so he probably won't go for something ridiculous. But I'm sure either way, Eager Pro would love to just get P2 on track. I mean, these guys are competitive as hell, and every position you can get is just amazing, isn't it? So he's going to try and look for the move. It looks so he's really got the car hooked around this part of the track, and I hope I haven't jinxed him. No, I haven't. And he's going to go into the straight now, but Pursuit, what an exit from him. Even with that minimal battery, he seemed to get a great exit, and Eager Pro's got nothing to challenge with. So Eager Pro can't seem to get past at the moment, but he seems to also get very close in the corners. Maybe he's saying that he's got a higher downforce set up. I'm not too sure. Coming onto the run into Cops, the slipstream isn't too powerful, so he won't get anywhere near close to him, but he's going to try his sure best, isn't he? Coming through Cops now, he takes it flat on the limit of track limits, and coming into Maggots and Beckett's now, will he be able to size up a move? Coming into Stowe, Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, he does it fantastically, but Pursuit gets a launch on exit as Eager Pro kind of sacrificed the run there. And coming into Stowe now, he's got a lot of speed on Pursuit. Coming into Stowe now, no, he stays behind for the moment, but we need to look at this guy. Cohen, he's led basically from start to finish, and he's done fantastically around Silverstone, and he's going to come across the line now to win the sprint race from Pursuit, and that's going to be Robbo in P3, and that's fantastic.
Very, very well done. Eager Pro almost had a look, definitely tried to give it his best shot, but in the end it didn't quite work out. Interesting stuff there from Cohen's AI going across the circuit at turn 1. Gilly takes a P5, Mikash recovering very well to P6, and Grajak getting Rexty on time penalty, so very good job from him. IDMC won't get a point unfortunately in the sprint race, but still it's something for the main race, of course. Qualifying order is everything. This is Vale just sitting behind, trying to spot any kind of opportunity, but no safety car just didn't bring him back into the action. That's how it goes sometimes, but you know, a very good opportunity to try and get driver of the day if they can win the race, and I'm sure they will be definitely worthy of it. That is Curran taking the win in the sprint race. It's lovely to see him do that. Pursoon is loving this, of course, taking that P2 over Robbo. Yes, it's only 1 point difference, but everything counts right now as the championship is getting towards the end kind of area. That's Cohen taking the win, Pursoon in P2 and Eager Pro in P3. Robbo, Gilly, Mikash, Mr. Grajak, Rexty, IDMC, Gibby, Blind Walker, Larlick, This is Vale, and DNFing was Nifojan. No race director. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one this time? We're getting away instantly. Cohen gets away well once again. Bit sideways, but no, that's Eager Pro round. Big mistakes, and there's other cars involved as well. This is Vale dropping back the order. What is going on? There's a Mercedes all over the place. That's also a Haas, unfortunately, having issues. Pursuit just about gets away well, and Mr. Grosjean into P3. An amazing job from him. Robbo not able to make any ground, but doesn't lose out in the end. Gilly sitting behind, and IDMC is looking pretty nice in P6. That was pretty hectic. Flying Walker was all over the place. I don't know what was going on. Larlock right behind here, and Heisler in the lobby now trying to get something here. Rexty having once again a troublesome start to this race. Cohen leads the way towards Cops now. Pursuit is hot on his heels, looking to try and take 2 wins in a row at Silverstone.
IDMC looking rapid. There's a couple of people who went on the soft tyres going against what we said at the start, but he's looking absolutely rapid at the moment. Gilly under pressure on those very slow hard tyres, I must admit. These soft tyres will die off, but he goes for the move already. He doesn't even wait for the straight. He goes for it on the exit of the corner, and he manages to get it ahead of Gilly into P5. He needs to make these soft tyres work. They're going to die off in a few laps, and he does that fantastically. IDMC up into P5, and Robbo will be his next target.
Lovely stuff. That is P2, 3 and 4, all pretty even gap-wise, but very different tyres. Grosjean going to try and make ground as soon as he can. Cohen also on that medium tyre, getting that fastest lap. He needs to make sure he makes these mediums work and break away before Pursuit has any chance at getting DRS. IDMC making that move as we just saw, of course, making that progress. He's only got about 4 or 5 laps of outright pace, and then it's going to be about lap 7 he'll want to try and pit, because otherwise he'll just lose out so much. This is Vale and Eager Pro unfortunately making that double pit stop. Yeah, Eager Pro is going to be in trouble. This is Vale could possibly go to the end, but we'll have to wait and see.
Looking for her back, we see Heisler all over the back of Flying Walker. Even though he has not soft tyre, I think you mentioned about him earlier on, they might have some damage, but Heish appears to have some sort of damage, unless he's just struggling with potential heat issues, because he just understeered for that corner. So what looked like a promising overtaking manoeuvre has turned into nothing. So I don't know what the issue is, but it seems to be affecting a lot of drivers. There's a lot of gaps. No one's really close enough to strike at the moment, but give it a few laps where these medium tyres start to die off and these soft tyres do too. These hard runners will come into fruition at some point, and we're going to see a lot of battles then.
Cohen isn't that much faster than Pursuit on that hard tyre, so he's in a bit of trouble. Pursuit just needs a little bit more, and he might have that DRS, and that'd be a very nice way to try and defend from Grosjean, but he's actually broken away from Grosjean, so that is perfect for him. More mistakes for Eager Pro, unfortunately. He's going to have to try and think of something later on. Pursuit, as we speak of him, he is going for that fastest lap. It's all about getting to that detection line. Is he going to get it into the braking zone? I think he will. That's going to be DRS for Pursuit on the hard tyre compared to the medium tyre. That is absolutely epic for him, but Cohen is going to have a bit of heartbreak right now because he's in trouble.
And Grosjean actually didn't get the DRS off of Pursuit, so these top two yet again are going to be breaking away from the pack, as we see Grosjean under pressure a bit from Robbo, who's going to be looking to find his way back up the grid after that unfortunate clash with Cohen. He looks to have the pace early on that hard tyre, just getting used to it very quickly, and he's got quite a bit of battery, so Grosjean might be in a bit of trouble here. Coming for Cops now, he's 3 tenths behind, and he's going to probably size up a move, and it's still once again, as we've seen before. He looks to have a lot of confidence and grip in the car, so for his sake that'll be fantastic. However, for Grosjean, he's going to be hating this. No DRS, no one pressuring Robbo behind, so he's got free reign to give it everything, full beans on Grosjean. He tries to defend with the DRS, but Robbo with the DRS is going to fly around the outside. Will he make it work? Grosjean actually gets it on the brakes through still now, and he's going to hold it around the outside, and he manages to make the move. What a move, he's up into P3.
Just about, bit of a wheel bang, but nothing wrong with that. Very, very good job. We've got IDMC Gilly, who's now caught up, so maybe the softs have already had issues. That's a yellow, unfortunately, as that is Grosjean, it seems, going down the order after that one, unfortunately, but his teammate will be promoted.
IDMC under pressure from Gilly at the moment, it seems. He can't just seem to run away in those soft tyres. He seems to have just not had the pace. These softer tyre compounds don't seem to be as beneficial at the start of the race with that heavy fuel load. They put a lot more energy into the tyres with the fuel, so they can't really grip up as much as you would have liked. And that's proving here with Gilly on the hard tyre, keeping up with a soft runner. So I'm not sure if it's the tyres or maybe, well, not tyre grip, but maybe temperature. If you look on board with IDMC, you're able to see the soft tyres are starting to just grain a little bit. It's starting to be a bit just more, less clean-like, I should say. And you can see Gilly's tyres are still nice and clean. And that shows the tyre wear difference, that these soft tyres are already burning out.
Lovely, lovely stuff. A nice shine on that Ferrari. White wall tyre, awesome to see. For Gilly, not for ITMC unfortunately, but he's got about 2 more laps until they really drop off, maybe even just 1 lap, and then he's going to have to consider making a pit stop. 5/10 between the top 2. Delightful for Pursoon, but absolutely horrific for Cohen. Actually, last lap as they went towards Stowe, he was only about a 10th behind, so he seems to be pretty powerful, trying to make sure that Cohen knows he's there, and maybe if he can get him some early warnings, then that will give him a big benefit later on. Maybe we'll get another late safety car, as we have seen so many times this season, of course. Robbo isn't too far behind, almost looking at DRS as well. So that could be something to look at a little bit later, of course. Time will tell how that goes. He is in DRS range at the moment. IDMC makes a mistake. Gilly makes a mistake as well, so they're not going to get the grip, and they're going to have to wait.
Yeah, Mikash is making the most of it, saving his battery, and probably preserving his tyres, because we've seen that the mediums are struggling. He doesn't look like he's going too aggressive on the steering. Just trying to conserve those tyres for later on, which is a good strategy. He might just try and suss out a move later on, but for now he's just staying in P6, while these lot battle for P4. If these two, say, make a mistake like they done into turn 5, like IDMC, he might lose the back end when Gilly's alongside, and that might allow Mikash to try and slither his way through. It's looking very promising for the rookie at the moment. He's on for a shot at a P4.
Lovely stuff. Gilly makes a mistake, and here we go. The Red Bull is on his way. He's going to make that move, and actually IDMC is going to be able to wait a little bit longer. Might have to consider going into the pit lane after having a couple of issues, of course. Cannot get the move done yet, even though he's on that grippier tyre. Looking to the inside, maybe? No, Gilly will not be faced, and he'll take that racing line. He knows that he has to get to that Aston. Grosjean having more issues, unfortunately, on the exit of Stowe. Is that them into the pit lane, potentially? It looks like it will be, unfortunately, for them. Maybe they're going to try something a little bit different. Larlick as well, switching positions. Don't know what's happening with those guys, but I do want to focus on the top 2 because Pursoon might have a look, but no, they make a mistake, and here comes Robbo! Robbo to the inside on the straight. That is what we like to see. Robbo is up into P2 and possibly having a look at Cohen, but they don't have any energy, and Pursoon is also looking a little bit low, not too low, but still a little bit low, so this could definitely switch up. Pursoon's not going to be happy with that one. He knows he has pace, so he's going to be ready to go for a move sooner rather than later, but Robbo now has that advantage. ERS-wise, it just might be a little bit tough, but we'll see how this goes.
I mean, these two battling for P1, it's going to get a bit personal after the sprint race collision. Robbo seems to have fantastic pace on that hard tyre ever since the start. He's been looking like a lion, basically. He's been challenging everything that's coming at him, and he's managed to just take them out. Not take them out, but overtake them fantastically. Robbo is on a roll at the moment, and nothing seems to be stopping him for now. But Pursoon is actually catching back up to him a bit. 2/10 is the gap as we see Gilly and IDMC switching positions. I think this might be the time that he's going to come into the pits. He doesn't actually. So IDMC thinks he can stretch those soft tyres a bit more and clutch onto the DRS of Gilly, potentially making the hard tyre stint a bit easier on himself. Looking back towards P10, we see Gibby and Larlick battling for the final points position. Soft versus medium tyre. Gibby goes a bit wide and gets himself a penalty. And can he go back up the inside into the final few corners? He can't seem to get the traction down, so no, Larlick makes his way up into P10.
Lovely stuff. That is Larlick making into the points for the first time, but he's on that soft tyre, so he's not going to have long there. Of course, that could switch up very, very shortly to Gilly now. IDMC is in the same situation as Larlick. They're just kind of trying to stay in the DRS and minimize any time loss, and then go to that hard tyre and hope that they get the undercut. It's a very viable strategy. You've just got to make sure everything goes right, and ideally be in clean air, or hope the other guys aren't in a DRS train to make it work. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble, of course. Looking back to the top three, though, as they're going to be racing pretty hard, I am sure. Robbo's going to get his second best opportunity at Cohen. They're going to catch up a lot, but they want to consider anything into the braking zone. I don't quite know. Pursuit, as we saw earlier on, is still pretty close to these guys ahead, so Robbo can't afford to make too many mistakes. If they do go for a bit of a risky overtake and lose out, then they will lose that P2, and that would be very costly because you don't want to be third in a train.
IDMC's in the pit lane now for his first and only stop, slows it down nicely. He done a good stint on those soft tyres, proving that it could be a viable strategy clinging on to Gilly's DRS. But now Mikash, on the medium tyre compared to Gilly's hards, he's not got the DRS because of that gap between him and Gilly. So he's going to be on starting to be slower medium tyre, and he's not going to have that benefit of the drag reduction system assisting him along. So you may have to think about a pit stop sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely got some things to think about and a lot of hard work to do. The top three are very close, but as we saw in the sprint race, they're probably not going to be wanting to go for moves until later on in the stint, maybe when the pit stops come around. The medium tyres, what are they going to do? About like 12 laps, maybe just a little bit more than that. And then, of course, you're going to go on to the hard tyre. Actually, you could possibly go to 14, 15, but that's going to be pretty difficult, of course. But yeah, that is the top three, very, very close together. Everybody else are kind of just splitting up a little bit and getting into a rhythm, of course, with the first pit stops being made by IDMC on that soft tyre. Still a long way to go for everyone on the mediums and the hards. Robbo, he's not going to be able to go for a move. He's got a long way to go to try and be in a position to make an overtake. But Pursoon, if he can spot that and maybe set up a nice exit, then maybe he'll realise, Robbo's not going to go for a move. I'm just going to try and overtake you now and then go for the lead into the pit stop kind of area. But I think what he might have to do is go for an undercut and try and overtake both cars in one go.
That could be a viable strategy, but remember, Cohen will have to put onto that hard tyre, which is very, of course, very cold, but it's going to take a lot of heating up, and it'll take about a lap and a half before you really start to see the benefit of the newer tyre, and by that time, you've already lost 2 and a bit seconds. Especially on a track like Silverstone, it's really fast-paced, and with the corners being so long and wide, you're going to get a lot of understeer, and so I'm not sure, is it worth doing the overcut for Cohen? He's on the medium tyre, yeah, which is dying off, but would you not rather get track position and try and hold him up and maybe even just lose P1 for the moment and keep in second place and use that DRS for later on, or what would you do in this situation?
No idea, honestly. It's pretty intense, so I probably wouldn't be able to think. Eager Pro retires. Could that be a safety car? It's not going to be a safety car. And that is Pursoon round. Oh, no, no. Just drops it on the traction. He's going to be out of the DRS range. He's going to lose a lot of time. Manages to just get it to spin right round very quickly. So he's going to lose only 7 seconds compared to about 10. Robbo is going to spot the opportunity, well, to make a move, but that is coming into the pit lane, hoping that maybe a safety car would still be deployed. But he realises, okay, Pursoon, he's going to go for that spin. I'm going to now try and make that opportunity and go for the pit lane. Because if Robbo decided to then start fighting, they're going to only lose time to Pursoon.
Yeah, Cohen and Pursoon, well, Cohen coming into the pit lane and Pursoon having that little excursion, maybe distracted by the car of Eager Pro. But that's the things that can happen sometimes. You can get distracted by an outside thing happening, and then that's it, you lose the car. And I just want to mention that Mikash is looking very well at the moment. He's P4. He's maintained the gap to Gilly, but that ERS is looking fantastic. He's got full battery, basically, so he's doing really well to keep the gap 1.8. And with these guys making an abundance of mistakes, will he be able to make the most of it, especially if he's showing this pace on the hard tyre?
We'll have to see how that goes. Mikash will have seen that Cohen has just made that pit stop. Maybe he would want to try and consider going for a pit stop as well. Nifo is going to have a look at Heischler. That is not Nifo, that's Nifo on the outside line. Heischler, he seems to have the advantage, so he might have to consider backing out. He will consider backing out. It's not worth the risk right now, but he will get the better exit, and it's going to be side by side towards Magnus and Beckett's. No, going to look at that DRS. We'll head towards Stowe, and I think that's where the move is going to be possibly made. So close to the back of that Ferrari, but a very, very big snap of oversteer, and that will be Heischler safe for a moment, and hardly any ERS available for Nifo. That's going to be even harder for him to be able to have a look at anything. Robbo, Pursoon, 6.7 seconds between those two guys. Cohen, he doesn't really have any traffic, so he's going to be good to go. A significant undercut is on the card for him, but by pitting so early, he has put himself at risk of losing out to a possible mid-race safety car.
And Grajak is actually sizing up a move on this is rail for P11, not points at the moment, but Grajak, look at the pace on that Aston Martin. He's going to fly down the inside of this is Vale, and he makes the move down up into P11, but this is Vale gets a rocketing exit. We've seen that going to the inside can really compromise your four club section now, but he can't seem to find a way through. Grajak holds it nicely, and on that new hard tyre, he managed to fly past, and now he's going to be looking his eyes onto points.
Of course, that would be lovely to see. And that is Nifo Jan getting a lovely, lovely switchback on the inside, which is not what you see every day. Now, he should have the advantage, but Heischler using everything he can to try and get in front for Kopp's corner, and yes, he will do so. This time, though, Nifo, he's going to try his best to have a look at going for a move on Stowe for the second time running. Of course, last time around he made a mistake. This time he's going to try and get a better exit. Very different lines between the two drivers. There's a lot of a bit of pace difference in the cornering speed between these guys, but Heischler seems to have the advantage in a straight line. He is able to hold on nicely with all that ERS that he's got, but a perfect corner there from Nifo. He's now side by side into the chicane to the outside line now. Is he going to be asking for the space? He will ask for the space. It's just about left. Now the inside line, the traction. Once again, we get a drag race to the line. Nifo Jan just behind for now. He's going to have to slot back in.
Yeah, these guys giving us a great battle at the moment for fifth place. Heisch goes a bit wide coming out of turn one, and he can be compromised. He has to defend to the inside, but Nifo's going to hang it right around the outside. Heisch giving them no space whatsoever. Hard racing between the two of them, but he's got the move done. On exit, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything, but with that ERS advantage, look at the Ferrari straight line speed on the Haas of Nifo Jan into the complicated middle sector now. Is he going to look for a move down the inside? No, he's not. Nifo hangs it around the outside. Those hard tyres seem to be giving a lot more grip than those mediums at the moment.
And that is Nifo, unfortunately, rounds. There you go. That was switched up very, 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 very quickly. In the meantime, Robbo's got himself a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately, so pushing hard. And like I said, later on into the race, we might see that kind of stuff. That is just the nature of this circuit. Cohen and Pursoon are now going to have a look at a nice advantage. Not only will Cohen have an undercut, but he will have an advantage over time penalties, and if he has track position, that will be very, very crucial because he needs that with the disadvantage of tyre type he will have later on. Mikash into the pit lane on lap 13. That's not a bad idea.
Owen actually got the DRS off Nifo and gained about 6/10 on that one straight, and that is fantastic news for him because Robbo on the 9-10 lap older tyres isn't going to be going this pace over the line now. He's not setting too bad lap times, Cohen is. Nifo, I don't know if he's going to battle this or he's just going to drag him along, but either way, Cohen's going to be loving the sight of one of the fastest drivers pulling him along. Of course he made that mistake, and he keeps on making mistakes. Granted, Nifo isn't feeling too well once again, but Nifo is prone to making these mistakes at the moment because of his tyre being far too hot, but at the same time, he's extracting so much from the car. So, I mean, it works, I guess. And looking back at this battle now, this is actually for points now. This is Vale and Grajak. He's going to look around the outside of the Aston Martin, which will turn to the inside, but he doesn't make it stick onto the straight now. Will he look for a move? I'm sure he will do. DRS is activated for the Alfa Romeo, but he doesn't seem to want to go for the move at the moment. Again, I think it's just the same old, setting it up for Stowe and then having that whole first sector. Oh no! Cohen's got a penalty.
They're now equal on track, so that's going to change things up for later on in this race, of course. Robbo is now slightly saved. Pursoon, if he can get the perfect strategy, he might have a chance to come back, of course. And with fresh tyres and no spin causing him extra wear, he might have a go at catching up later on, of course. It's so easy to make mistakes with track limits, and if you've got a car right in front of you like Cohen did, it's even harder to stay within those track limits, not only because of dirty air, but also your view is slightly blocked, which just makes it that much more difficult. But that is a pit stop for Heischler as he goes on to the hard tyres. That's no one on the mediums yet. I think in the next 2 laps, really, we're probably going to see some people go into the pit lane. Grosjean makes a big mistake, but will do enough to hold on to that position.
Yeah, Grosjean feeling the pressure from the Alfa Romeo once again. These two have been battling quite a lot of this race, as we see Heisch coming out in P10, promoting these guys up to 9th and 8th. But in a few laps' time, once he gets those hard tyres hit up, I'm sure he'll be all over the back of them, because they are a lot fresher than these two. As you see, he makes a bit of a mistake. But looking back at these guys now, is Dittisville going to make a move? It doesn't look like it. I thought he was going to set it up for last time, but he doesn't. And Robbo is taking this chance with the gap he's got and the potential clean air he's going to be put in to come into the lane. Pursoon elects to stay out for the moment, and will he try and extend the tyres, maybe like 15, 16, get a bit of fresher rubber towards for the rest of the race? What do you think?
I was thinking that Robbo might have actually considered a soft tyre, but no, didn't want to do it. The safer strategy is right here. He still has a slight advantage time penalty-wise over Pursoon, so that would be quite nice. I mean, gap-wise, actually, that would still be quite nice. It really depends how it goes. Will Robbo be in dirty air? Here comes Nifojan and Cohen. Nifojan sitting in P2, and that is going to be Robbo nicely ahead. Temperature-wise, it will be enough. Safety car is deployed, and that is going to be Pursoon leading the race with no time penalties, and Gilly jumping a lot as well.
I would be fuming if I were Robbo. Is that not this? That's not the first time that's happened. I swear, that's like the second or third. That Robbo, maybe not this season, but just overall, where I've experienced him have the most unlucky pit stop ever. That's going to allow Gilly to come out ahead of Mika, and Pursoon actually, let's see, 26 seconds. He may actually rejoin in the lead of the race without a time penalty and fresher tyres. This is Pursoon's race to lose now.
Changing up in the middle of the race, would you want to consider going for the softs? That is the question. Depends on your setup, of course. It would be very, very risky. But it might be an idea. Pursoon doesn't need to do that. He just needs to make sure... Oh, no. God. Okay, so he just needs to make sure that he secures everything he possibly can. No, gets a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as maybe he wasn't concentrating too much during a safety car condition, which is easily done. Still, onto the medium tyre he will go, but that is pretty painful. And now, in theory, Gilly might be in the net lead. No, Robbo's going to still jump in front of Gilly just about. He might even get in front of Pursoon, actually.
Well, wait, across the line goes Robbo, coming out of the pit lane. In just a moment's time, he comes Pursoon. It's going to be tight on exit. Who's going to get it? It looks like Robbo just manages to get it on exit. So Robbo just about maintains the lead. And that's crucial. With Pursoon's 5 seconds, it's not looking so prosperous for him now. And that allows one certain British man, driving a Ferrari of all cars, to have a chance at winning his home Grand Prix. Mr. Gilly in P3. He's always never got a penalty, and he's always just there lurking in the background. And penalties are usually for podiums, but for once, he's got a chance to secure the dub. Will he do it? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Pursoon has that 5-second time penalty, so here's the situation. Robbo's got the 3-second. That means Pursoon now has a 2-second disadvantage. He does, however, now have the DRS, and if he can get in clean air, he might have a go. We don't really know his true pace because we never really saw him leading this race yet. So he's now got a second opportunity. He still has a chance at winning this race. Unfortunately, he had a late safety car back in Saudi Arabia, which cost him dearly. This time it's not that late, so he's still got time to do it. It's going to be less than 10 laps though, so that's not going to be ideal. It's going to be probably around about 9 laps actually. So yeah, that will be very interesting. Cohen, he's in, alright, I've been screwed over by the safety car. Once again, I'm going for the softs. I don't care what you think. I'm just going to do it anyway, because at this point in the race with the time penalty, he's got to try something different. It might work, but it is going to be on the limit of the soft tyre. They're going to be intact for 10 laps, but that's about it. Intact is the only word you can really describe. Once he gets to 5 laps on that tyre, you're just going to drop off significantly. So the question is, will he have enough pace to use track position as a defensive mechanism, of course?
Well, I'm not sure really. I don't know. Who's that coming? It's Cohen. Cohen in the pit lane again. So maybe, what's he doing? I don't know. Let's see. Into the box now. He's gonna go on to another. Oh right, okay, I see what he's doing. He's gonna put on another new set of soft tyres, so he's got a bit less wear, so that when he does go racing again, he hasn't got as much wear. But you know, that is not the smartest move, I would say. I'm not trying to call him dumb, but I mean, look, that speaks for itself, really.
Yeah, that was a big loss there. Maybe he thought he could do it. Maybe he thought he could get in front, but safety car conditions, you can't really gain or lose too much. Maybe he'll secure a good restart, and maybe he'll have that advantage. I think what he's really considering is, am I going to get to the end of this race? I want to try and get that slightly fresher tyre and then make sure I do get to the end of the race, because I think that's definitely his thinking. It's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a viable strategy. Looking at the situation right now, we've got 2 higher tier drivers on the grid. So at the moment, Cohen is still in the points, but Heischler behind. He's not going to be promoting anybody at the moment. Is what it is. Doesn't really need to be too much of a problem. Will we be going racing once again? Unfortunately, I don't think we will. We're going to be going on the next lap of lap 19.
What about you? This has been a very sweaty race, let's just say. I mean, there's been battles everywhere. People have been clipping it nice and clean. And now with 10 laps to go, this resets the pecking order somewhat. You've got Niffo on that soft tyre, which will probably burn out in about 6 laps. You've got people at the back like Cohen and Lolick also on the soft. You've got a few runners on mediums who have elected to go for that middle safe ground, and then you've got the people who pitted for hard a few laps ago who didn't have a choice really. It was either they stay on the hard to keep track position, or they pit and they go back down to where Cohen is. And what would you rather? I'm not sure what I'd rather.
Whatever's best. I don't want time penalties. I want the best tyre. Medium tyre and P1. That's what I like. I don't know. It's going to be an 8-lap sprint. It's pretty much a sprint race. ERS will have to be dissipated.
Is it just me that Robbo's
disqualified? Yes. Okay. That is not what we want to see. He's overtaken the safety car, I guess. That is now going to be Pursoon leading this race. That was weird.
Nice game.
That is the curse of Silverstone. It happens pretty much all the time, and in the first few corners. I've been struck by that many times. I can promise you, it's not just from a lack of concentration. It can be a glitch around this circuit. It seems to happen. We'll wait and see if that can be confirmed, but that is now effectively a DNF and a big loss of points over his rival Pursoon.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That would have been a great battle between those two for a win, but honestly, I'll tell you what happened, right? From my perspective, I was just looking at Robbie, ramped into the safety car, didn't take any damage at all, and then just ghosted through it, so I'm not sure. Can you explain to us at all what that glitch might have been, or are you unsure?
Sometimes it just lags back and then all of a sudden you're in front of it, and then it doesn't let you regain the position because the safety car just doesn't do that. So sometimes that happens. Maybe on his screen it glitched if he's ghosted through the safety car. We won't know until we can see their onboard, of course. But we will know that we're going to be going for the restart this time around. Gilly now doesn't have two cars in front of them, so they won't be fighting each other. He does have a 5-second buffer between himself and Pursoon. Is he going to try and let Nifojan go into P2 immediately and try and get that DRS? That is the question. Pursoon's got to definitely consider that and just give it his best shot. He has to run away with this as best as he can if he wants to get this win. At the moment, he just needs to make sure he finishes this race in the points, because any advantage would be nice. He's gone for the restart already, and that is a brilliant job there for Pursoon. Gilly reacts all right. It's not too bad. Nifojan right behind. Has anybody else been caught out? They've got to wait to the line to be able to make an overtake, otherwise they'll get themselves a penalty. Everybody's kind of spread out. They weren't able to react too well. This is Vales in this race right behind. That is Cohen looking for a move already. I want to quickly see this. I think Nifojan is going to possibly have a look, but here we go. Cohen to the inside line on the Aston. He's going to give it his best shot on that soft tyre. There's also Mr. Grosjean going for a move on Rexty, and here comes this Vale making a move. Can we see a double overtake? Rexty goes off the circuit, and Cohen is making this look easy. He's even going to have a possible look at this Vale. Not quite yet, but it might be ready for the next corner. Won't find the space, but on the exit off, such an advantage.
Yeah, Cohen actually managing to use the soft tyres. That lower fuel load, he's managing to make it work at the moment. He's already up into P8, looking further ahead. It looks as though Pursoon has gapped Kelly, sorry. And looking now at this is Vale. He's very close to the back of Grosjean. But now Cohen coming through Maggots and Beckett. I mean, look at the grip. Look at the difference. It is sublime. He's going to get the run in the exit. And, oh, this is Vale. Loses the car a tiny bit. And that costs Cohen a bit of speed. And coming into stone now, he's going to get the slipstream of Grosjean right around the outside. No, he spun! He's into, oh, he's lost his wing as well. He got pushed onto the grass a tiny bit. And that's a safety, oh, that's a safety car. Safety car once again. Oh my goodness.
Heartbreak for Pursoon in the meantime as well, because now he can't break away. This is going to be very, very crazy. Cohen now going to get another set of softs on. Rexty goes and gets himself a 5-second time penalty as he speeds into the pit lane. Will Pursoon try and serve this penalty now? I don't think he will. I think he's going to just try his best to get a damage limitation at this point. But that has changed things very, very quickly all of a sudden. Cohen, that is such a shame for him. It was looking so exciting, but never mind, it will not be. This is Vale making some moves. They went defensive just about, and then the safety car has been deployed, so they will not have a look at the other Aston Martin. Gibby, though, in P5. That is absolutely incredible.
Gibby doing a great job managing on that very, I wouldn't say nice hard tyre, somehow making his way up into P5 after all the carnage that ensued for this whole race, really. He stayed quite quiet, maybe not at the front, but he's steadily making his way up here. And if he's lucky with Pursoon's penalty, he's on for a podium. Pursoon, Gilly, and Mika. Oh no, sorry. He'll be looking for a P4. Actually, he's got a penalty, doesn't he? What penalty is that? It's a 9 second. Oh, it's 9 seconds. So maybe speaking a bit too soon there. But I said earlier on that Mikash is looking good for a podium potentially, and he's shown that right now. This safety car obviously is a bit lucky, but with Cohen's mistake, that has cost him a chance at getting back into this race potentially. He has one set of soft tyres left, but he can't afford to do that again, otherwise. Well, I don't think a safety car will come out for one, and two, he's not got any fresh sets, so this is his last chance to make something of this race.
Luckily, there will be DRS, so that's going to make overtaking a little bit easier. That's the plus side. Gilly may be regretting letting Nifojan go for a move. That's Gibby going into the pit lane, interestingly. Going to go for the soft tyres. He realises he's got that time penalty. Maybe he was just not willing to drop like a stone on that hard tyre. So yeah, really wants to go for it. This is Vale also considering it, Larlock as well, and Heisler into the pit lane. That is an interesting situation. I didn't realise this is Vale would want to go for it. After making all those positions, he's going to lose a lot of track position. But maybe it's an idea. Some drivers might want to serve a time penalty. Rexty didn't want to go for a second pit stop, which I found fairly interesting, but is what it is, I guess. For soon, he's going to be not pissed off that these guys have just made a pit stop, of course, but yeah, maybe not too pleased, because they might delay the safety car restart. I don't think they will. I think we're going to be going racing at the end of this lap, on lap 22, and DRS will be available for a short moment, but DRS or ERS, if you manage it wisely, then you will be able to defend pretty easily. Cohen making positions immediately as quite a few people make those pit stops.
Yeah, a lot of people making a few positions, especially the two Aston Martins of Grajak and IDMC. IDMC has a 3-second penalty. Both people behind him do also have that penalty. So he's going to be fighting for track position. Aston Martin looking good for a solid points finish here after the loads of Grajak being near the back of the grid. And he's managed to climb his way up into almost a podium position. So what are you expecting of this restart, Aaron? What do you think is going to happen? I like to hear.
Nifo gonna drop like a stone on that soft tyre. I don't know, it's gonna be pretty hard, but he will be able to save a bit of tyre here, so he'll be good to go to the end. It's just gonna be damage limitation. Safety car in this lap. Bazoon has got to make sure he nails this. Nefojan also, he's got to make sure he has minimal impact on this race, and Gilly is going to just pray that he doesn't get fought by Mikash, but Mikash is going to want everything on that. Will that hard tyre be enough, though? That is actually the two Aston Martin switching positions momentarily. Grajak's in for a win. IDMC is in for a win. Everybody's in for a win, but Grajak doesn't have that time penalty. So Mikash, Grajak, Gilly, they're all in a chance here. Bazoon goes for it now, and he's got a pretty good restart. Nifojan sits in P2 nice and comfortably. Gilly sits there, not that close, but not that far away. Mikash not able to get a good restart side by side with Cohen and Rexty. That is Cohen making that move nice and early on, so brilliant job from him. Side by side with the Mercedes, and this is Vale. This is Vale going to try and have a look to the inside line. No, they will not. They're going to have to back off momentarily and try and get something on the exit, but everybody is on that soft tyre. Around the outside he goes, and he should have the grip around that outside line. He won't have to lift. That is absolutely perfect. Slight wheel bang between the two. Gibby's going to still try and send it to the inside. In the meantime, Cohen making moves as well. Contact Gibby. This is Bell going to have to give it up, I think. But no, he'll come back to the inside line. He'll take that position. Gibby lets him go. He realised what he did wrong. Cohen now sitting in P6. So making a lot of progress here. And he could put Grzak and Mikash in a problematic position here.
Yeah, Cohen on that soft tyre once again. He's made his way up all the way to P6. He's played it fantastically considering the circumstances he was put in. Coming through Meggetts and Beggetts now. It looked like it was raining there for a second. That may have just been a graphical bug. But onto the straight now. He's using all his battery, but so is Grajak and Mikash. Actually, Mikash is saving a bit. So he's going to be hoping that these guys just battle a little behind him on that very slow hard tyre. He's going to be struggling quite a lot, and Cohen sends it into clutch. Rexley goes off the track behind him, and Cohen makes the move on to P5. Mikash is his next target. He's going to be absolutely flying on the new soft compound tyre, lap 23 or 26, flying through the first corner now. He's got so much grip, and coming now into the turn 3 and 4, he's dived up the inside. He's got so much confidence on the brakes. With the grip in the car, he's just going to dance around the outside, and that is him with a penalty. It's him with a penalty. Yeah, he's up into P4 now, but he's got a time penalty of 3 seconds, and that's going to cost him so much in the grand scheme of things. With only 4 laps to go, how will that shake the outcome of this race.
Mikash is going to be hating that. Now he's got a car in between him with that time penalty. Yes, he'll get the position back, but he won't have a chance at getting ahead of Pursoon. Gilly will absolutely love this. He's just got 3 laps to try and hold on to a 5-second time penalty range, and he will look at winning this Grand Prix. Still got a little while to go if he wants to make that work, though. Mikash makes a mistake. He's on that hard tyre. He has the disadvantage, I will admit. Time penalty-wise, he just needs to make sure that he secures a good run. Curran trying his best to break away as much as he can. Everybody else seems to have quite a lot of time penalties, so he might be in a good position. Rajak trying to go for the inside line, and he will send it. Sticks his wing in. That wouldn't have been enough, but still, Mika's just going to leave him a little bit of room, and here comes Dissenfeld going for the double overtake. He's going to try and get it done. Space is minimal, and now Mikash will lose out big time, but that was a very, very, very risky opportunity. Kind of made it work. It was a bit crazy for sure. That is now Gibby on the inside side by side, and it will not work. Gibby is round.
Yeah, Gibby going for a bit of a too audacious dive on Mikash, and now he's went from P4 all the way down to P9 and 10 as his teammate now overtakes him on the outside as he gets the move back just about. But that's going to be heartbreaking for the Red Bull driver. Looking so promising on his debut, just to all fall away from him in the last few moments with 3 laps to go. And I'm looking at the battle up front. Gilly's dropped 4 seconds. I don't know what his ambitions are. Pursoon seems to have a flashing light indicating that he's got less than 10%. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. Niffle is going to be trying to look for a move potentially up the inside of Pursoon. He's got a little bit of life in that soft tyre left, and he's probably going to use the remainder of it to try and get it past. I know Niffle would probably want to get the wheel on track, even if it means that he doesn't get it on time penalties. And he's really ragging everything out of that Haas car as he makes a mistake. As I was saying that, really pushing the limits and looking for it back now. Haish makes the move on Grishak. 14 lap old mediums are going to be nothing against that new set of soft tyre.
Lovely stuff for him, making that work. Gilly, he's in trouble. I think he's only got a couple tenths left, and he is going to lose that DRL time penalty range, and that could possibly be the win. He's got 2 laps to go, and he might be able to get it. He's got to pray that Pursoon makes a mistake. But Pursoon's still got a lot of pressure. It's not a big gap. It's not a big difference. So he's still got to try and make sure everything is right. Nifajan, I don't think he's going to want to have any impact in this race. So I think he's probably just going to sit in P2 and just wait for everything to play out. That is unfortunately how it's going to go racing wise, but Pursoon, I'm sure, is very, very happy with that because minimal impact in the race, of course. IDMC, he's in P9 at the moment, got a time penalty, but he is close behind Larlik, who doesn't have DRS, as of course Mikash does lose out. But Mikash, no time penalties. Maybe he can catch up, but the gap is kind of spreading between everybody, so it might not actually be that simple. I don't think we're going to be seeing anybody going for any moves anytime soon. I do want to have a look at This Is Vale and Curran, however, because this could switch up. No ERS for either driver, just pure DRS. He should have the advantage on tyre wear very, very slightly. It would be absolutely minuscule, but it still could switch up late on.
Yeah, I mean, 3/10 gap. Going 1 lap older sauce, which may not seem like a lot, but I mean, that's 6-7% will really show on this last lap of the Grand Prix with Pursoon leading. But we're looking at this battle here for the final podium position. Is it? Yeah, final podium position, sorry. P3 on the cards here as Niffle, of course, being an F1 driver. And he's going to hook for the move as soon as he possibly can, really. But it looks as though Cohen gets good enough traction out of the first few corners, and he manages to keep it ahead of This Is Vale, so he's not going to have much time. Gilly is 6 seconds behind. He's not going to get it. He needs to ramp up the pace now. He needs to use all that battery that he's got left. I don't know if he's going to, but he's got quite a chunk of it left, so he needs to use all of it.
It's not going to work. I don't think it might be settled as it is. This is Vale, so close to the back of him. DRS, will it be enough? Cohen's pushed through everything he had. to try and get DRS off of Gilly, and right now he might have a shot at it. I think he is going to get it. That'll be heartbreaking for This Is Vale. Let's watch and see. Down the hanger straight we will go. A mistake for This Is Vale and DRS for Cohen. It's going to be virtually impossible. Maybe he can tuck in the slipstream, and maybe he's got the setup advantage, but it's not going to work. Pursoon has got the final few corners, and they're gonna do the double. 2 Great British Grand Prix in a row. Pursoon wins. Absolutely incredible. Nifojam P2, and Gilly is gonna get the P2 for the EU drivers and P2 overall. Absolutely perfect. This Is Vale will get it on time penalties in the end. Heischler and P5, Cohen, Lalek, Grajak, IDMC, and Michas will get P9 in the end after that. Rexty makes a mistake on the final corner and will lose out to Gibby. Absolutely heartbreaking there. And that is not what we want to see. He's just lost out on points. That's absolutely terrible. But never mind. Pursoon makes that a bit of redemption from Saudi Arabia, of course. Perfect. He likes this track, I'm sure.
Yeah, that last few laps was eventful, wasn't it? With Pursoon just about coming out on top.
Very, very crazy indeed. Pursoon is going to get it. We'll skim through the results. Just give it a second. Here we go. Pursoon takes the win. Gilly in P2, and then Nifojam with the fastest lap in P3. Then we've got This Is Vale, Heischler, Cohen, Lalek, Mr. Grajak, Mikash, IDMC, Gibby, Rexty, finishing off the order. Finishing order, Flying Walker in P13, DNFing, Eager Pro also following him, and of course that was Robbo getting disqualified by the safety car. Just want to quickly double check that results, and then we'll go for the race director just in case if we need to a little bit later on. As always, it's always worth a check, especially around Silverstone where the track limits are so tricky. I was going to swear then, but I probably shouldn't. Alright, we'll be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race, or welcome back to the F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the post-race interviews of the Great British Grand Prix. You start with Robbo. That was absolutely heartbreaking, leading your home race for such a while, and then it didn't work out. Can you just take us through everything, please?
Yes, sound. So, quali was good. I think into conditions to dry, quali is always a bit of fun. We got P2, which was good, and then at the sprint, I was just kind of chilling behind Cohen. Went for a move. I was squeezed off a few times, but obviously there's no point talking about that here. So I got spun, and then I was able to make it back to P4, which was solid. And then in the race, I just stuck on hards, kept it with the DRS of Pursoon. He made a little mistake, and then Cohen pit, which I thought was quite early to pit, and then somehow I got a massive overcut on him, which I was well happy about. And then the safety car came out, which I was like, oh crap! But somehow Pursoon didn't overtake me, and I got Andy got a 5-second penalty. So it was looking very optimistic to take the home win, but then obviously the game had other plans for me. So yeah, there's no point me going on. It would just be like a massive rant against the current condition of the game. But yeah, the pace was good, so can't really complain overall.
What could have been, honestly, it's such a shame. Still more races to go, and I'm a strong believer in karma, so I'm sure it will come round the other way round, hopefully for you soon. But yeah, a very, very good effort, such a good pace today, and thank you very much for the great entertainment on track. It was absolutely epic. It's just a shame it didn't go that way. Next track, Hungary. Do you think you can do well there? Not too many overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, Hungary's. I think Hungary is one of those tracks where if you've got that corner pace and it's a bit more like driver based instead of just having a straight line speed set up. I think I practiced this week for Silverstone and my pace was quite good. So I'm just going to go into the same mindset next week, and yeah, hopefully it'll be good. We'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Ignore the bad stuff and then just try and keep the good momentum. I like it. I mean, at least it was a sprint weekend, so you did score some points, at least, from that one.
Yeah.
One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
You've heard it a few times, but game is rubbish.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thanks. Yeah.
And we move on to Heisler. Heisler, that was tough. As you said, I think you might have had a problem on the first stint. You had some pretty crazy battles and the soft car at the end.
Yeah, I actually had fun for since a long time. So even though with the wing damage, I was quite happy with the pace I had with wing damage. Didn't really lose that much time to the guys in front. Of course, Nifo was faster, but that wasn't a surprise when I have wing damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I had to pit at some point for arts, but it didn't change my wing, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be a terrible race. Then the safety car came, then I could change my wing, but they put me back to the old mediums. Then I had to pit again for the hards. Then the safety car came again, and I pitted for the softs. And then I had, I would say, a lot of fun on the softs. It was one overtake on Rarlock that was insane. It was again a dive ball on Rarlock, but not as bad as in Singapore. It was in Stowe. Was quite a nice overtake actually, but I think he just backed out. He thought, I'm not gonna fight this. Yeah, and the rest pretty much stay clean and just let it all happen in front of you. And in the end, I came somehow P5, so I'm quite happy.
Fair enough. Really well done to jump in last minute and get it done. So yeah, well done. Very good effort. Hungary, do you like that circuit? It's another European track, so I mean,
No.
I don't know if we would get rain again, but it's a possibility.
No, I don't like that circuit.
Fair enough.
But I'm looking forward to Brazil because I'm not there in Hungary.
Yeah, awesome. Brazil, do you think you can do well there? Might be raining again.
It's a weird one. Never really practiced much for it, so I think I can do well. Since if I look back at the pace I had without much practice.
Fair enough. That's good to hear. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I had fun.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
And we move on to Gilly. Gilly. What happened at the end? It was looking so good.
What do you mean? Blame Nifo for that because he promised to hold Pursuit up and then he failed at that. So he let me down.
Completely his fault. What was happening then? The tires just drop off. You couldn't do it. I don't know what energy was like.
I was saving my ARS, but Pursuit was just so quick and he was pushing so hard so there was a dangerous Haas behind him. But yeah, the safety car was nice, and then the race leader tried to get track position over the safety car, which was good for Ferrari. And so I thought I had a chance, but I can do it.
Fair enough. I mean, Ferrari-wise, that's a push towards the constructors. Not in the best way, but it is something. So well done. Another great result for you there. Yeah, pretty awesome in the end on your side. So yeah, very well done. That's a lovely P2. Hungary, do you like that circuit? Maybe it would suit you with your new style of setup on slightly higher downforce setups.
I'm normally I quite like Hungary, so yeah, I'm happy with Hungary.
Awesome. Maybe we can see a Gilly win then. Maybe there.
Easy.
Awesome, easy. I like it. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I chose harder tyre compound, and I don't know, Jeff hid them or something, so I'm going to say wear my tyres.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Curran. That was a roller coaster of a ride for sure. That was absolutely crazy. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, quali begun with intermediate conditions, so and it was going to dry up. So I just waited and looked at the tire. How do you call it? In your box, you can see the difference between the pace and through inters and softs. So I saw that the softs were fastest at the end, so I just went for a lap, took it quite easy and did not really push because you invalidate quite easy. So yeah, took pole and I was happy with that. Then in the sprint race I had a collision with Robo, of course. Probably my bad. I didn't expect him to go for the gap, and I closed it a bit. So yeah, probably get a penalty for that, but won that one. And then the race was yeah, a lot of chaos. I crashed once. I don't know how I did not retire, but yeah, after that it was just done.
Fair enough. I mean, count yourself lucky again. It was a pretty hard hit in the wall, but somehow.
yeah, I don't get it.
Well done. Williams made a good car. Still very nice points overall in a sprint weekend. Very good pace, and thank you very much for some great battling. It's just a shame it didn't go quite to plan. Hungary, lots of corners. Do you think you can do well there?
Yeah, well, it's a track with a rhythm, so I like that. Silverstone is probably my worst track on the whole calendar. So yeah, I'm fine with everything else except Silverstone, so it's all good.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully it's a strong end to the season for you. So let's see if we can get that on the up. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Soft.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Very good job.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo Jan. Nifo, that was once again, I'll say a roller coaster. In the end, you were nice and high up after some crazy battles. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I already knew that it was going to be a bit of a disaster because I decided last minute to help a bit with the action, I guess. And then I looked at the weather and it's on dry, and I was like, all right, I have no practice in the dry. I barely had any practice in the rain yesterday, so this is not gonna go well. I had the quality as it's wet, like, oh, it's gonna be fun. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe if when it dries up, I can practice for dry conditions, and it dried up like 1 minute, so I couldn't. I had the sprint, chaotic start. A bit of a bit few of the collisions, but fine in the end. Catch up a bit, try just battling, and then I just lose focus. Still a bit sleep deprived, so and then I was distracted by Gilly, so I spun. And I didn't really care that much. I wanted to DSQ anyway from the sprint, but I remembered, oh, I might cause a safety car, so I started driving again, just to cause not a safety car or give anybody an advantage. So I just drove and I retired after. Then the real race, yeah, I mean, that start was just fucking, sorry, not freaking outstanding how much I get hit and what people are doing. So I went off track, got a warning, I got hit, spun, and whatever, everything happened. Just wrong. I'm so far behind at that point. Just battling through, catch up the guys, bit of fun battling with a broken wing, not someone who's not willing to kill someone and no ERS, battling there, spinning. It's completely my own fault, lost concentration again. And then in the last bit, I decided to go on softs, and I can tell you that my softs hate me because they were 75% at the end, so they were ready to pop. But yeah, I couldn't go on the mediums again because same as in another league, I had the same glitch where it basically gave me the mediums from the sprint race. So if I did that, I wouldn't have made it anyway. So it was not make it or make it with no percentage left. So I tried that, didn't work. Pursuing a good pace, Gilly, yeah, also good pace. So well done to both. It was a fun race.
Yeah, perfection on the tyres then, I will say. 75%, but let's just pretend it's that, yeah, not a game bug. Really well done today, and getting a nice podium in the end, so well done. Hungary, do you think you can do well there? I know we answered it already yesterday, but just say it again for us.
As I quote from yesterday, it has been kind to me in the past, but I'm not on good form, so we'll wait and see.
Well, let's see, yeah, exactly, time will tell. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Oh. Bit of fun.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
That's been it for me. Whoa. Hold on, that's the wrong button on the screen. That's been it from me. I will pass you over to Zingy.
Yeah, your 4 brain cells not working too well together there, eh? Now, join us next time on Tuesdays for the open lobbies, which will be taking place at 7 PM UK time, and then Friday and Saturday at 8 PM UK time. Join us again for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which showed us a bit of an eventful race last season, so hopefully we can give you the same yet again, and we'll see you guys later then, right? Goodbye.